Zane, great to see you, man. You know, I started my love of guitars. They're really a great help when you're growing up because you've got so many questions and things flooding in that if you can get off in a quiet space with a guitar and you kind of can tell your troubles to the guitar. And often in doing that, you come out of the other end and, oh, it's a song. We used to think it was like the greatest therapy.
This is an old Les Paul. It's a 58. Everything seemed to come right about this time. If you get to the end of a vocal and you've got nothing more to say, but maybe the guitar has, and you wanted something, maybe a richer sound, well, then I'd probably use something like this. So that thicker tone, you know, with a Strata would be slightly different. Steel guitar. One day I was playing around on this and came up with Romeo and Juliet just because of the nature of the guitar. I mean, you know, I could probably play it on that and it would sound okay, but it wouldn't be quite the same as this delightfully vulgar piece of equipment. It's got the lovers on the back in a canoe too, isn't it? It's really, really. I've always thought of these things as being magical, in a way, you know. It's a friend to you all your life. Once you've, you know, learned how to play a few chords, that's really all that you need. Most of the time when I'm at home, I'm just playing real simple chords and writing my songs. I'm really glad that I couldn't afford an amplifier. That was really good for me because with borrowing friends' acoustics, it took me into folk music. If I was writing a song like True Love Will Never Fade, I'd be going... And it would probably come from sitting with a flat top guitar like this. Yes, this is. Is
this a dear friend?
It's a good friend. It's one of my favorite. It just looks like any old cowboy guitar. Was actually made in 1935.
Wow! You have this finger picking technique.
Yes. Well, because I couldn't afford an amplifier, I couldn't play in a rock band, so not immediately. So I borrowed friends' acoustic guitars, and I learned how to finger pick because they wanted me to play in folk clubs and places like that. And then you have to try and get your fingers to go through in the spaces in between, which took even longer. So you're starting to do a little bit of orchestration. And then you just develop that, and then you start breaking the rules. And I started breaking the rules pretty quick, and the thumb would start moving up where the fingers go, and the fingers would start coming down where the thumb should be. So you're starting to play where your fingers and your thumbs are kind of all getting mixed up, and you're sort of bubbling along.
Just a bit of a rebel, aren't you, really?
Yeah.
I remember being at Ilpine Island one night with a mate of mine called Dave Brock, who later formed Hawkwind, and we were big mates and playing guitar together a lot. And I can't remember what I was playing, but it may have been the Washburn. And someone said, "You ought to have a look at this." And we were outside, and they opened this, you know, proper hard case. I mean, you didn't see any. I carried my guitar around in a sort of sack, you know. They had a case, and they opened it up, and there was this dreadnought in there. you know, and it was like that. It was like a bit light shone out of the case, you know. It was so precious and significant, and we were allowed. The guy let us. I don't know. Might have been a folk music. I can't remember whose it was, but I felt that neck, you know, the triangulated neck, and I thought, this is and it's always been, you know, I hate to say it, but it's been my experience ever since that the proper guitars, and therefore probably the most expensive guitars, are always going to be the easiest ones to play, because they're just made for playing. They're, you know, the motive behind the making of the guitar is 100% right. And so if you already have a little bit of a faculty, it's going to be a lot easier to play a proper guitar. And eventually I got my hands on.
He's pretty beat up, like me. There is something about the electric guitar, about the pickup. There's some vibration set up by electromagnetics. In fact, we are electromagnetic. That's what makes us think. And so I realized very close to the source of like the whole mystery of life here. I tell you, if they want to know what kind of paint, I believe these were very early acrylic pens. I was playing it half the time and then stop, and maybe there was a song here, maybe the moon is up and the sun is down. No, this is definitely acid, man. This is a great inspiration.